No.
Hi, New Zealand. Hi, Karma. Hi,
Am I
Courtney.
proposing soon? Not yet.
I don't want to know.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard has always known how to control the narrative when it comes to her personal life, and her relationship with Ken Urker is no exception. The latest buzz surrounding Gypsy suggests that she's in no rush to marry Ken, telling the media that she wants to take things slow and avoid making the same mistakes she did with Ryan Anderson. She has been vocal about how quickly things moved in her past marriage, acknowledging that her emotions and hormones played a big role in the decisions she made. Now, she insists that she has learned from those experiences and is trying to be more cautious with Ken. On the surface, this sounds reasonable, but when looking at her actions more closely, there seems to be a contradiction between what she says and what she actually does.
I feel really guilty. Okay.
Despite Gypsy claiming she wants to take her time, it seems like she might not be the one making that choice. Ken's actions, or lack thereof, suggest that he's the one hesitating when it comes to marriage. He has not shown any urgency to propose, and from an outsider's perspective, it appears that he has effectively put any wedding plans on hold. While Gypsy is saying she's content with waiting, her behavior suggests otherwise. She continues to bring up the topic of commitment, frequently making comments that hint at marriage being an expected part of their future.
I know there's been a lot of change for him. Like I told him, I don't want him to stay because of the baby. I want him to want this relationship to work.
This subtle pressure creates an interesting dynamic, where Gypsy portrays herself as patient and understanding, but at the same time, she's clearly anticipating a proposal. One of the biggest contradictions in her story is how she describes her past decisions. She acknowledges that things moved too quickly with Ryan, but it's unclear which part of that experience she regrets the most. Was it the rushed marriage itself, or the fact that she ended it just as abruptly? If she truly wanted to break the cycle of making impulsive decisions,
That I feel really guilty. Okay.
one would expect her to take a completely different approach this time around. However, despite her words about being cautious, her actions tell a different story. She has already taken significant steps toward committing to Ken, making it difficult to believe that she's as hesitant as she claims. Her repeated statements about moving on from Ryan also raise questions about how much she has truly let go of the past.
Just because, I know there's been a lot of change for him. Like I told him, I don't want him to stay because of the baby. I want him to want this relationship to work.
She constantly emphasizes that her divorce is almost finalized and that she is finally free. But if she's genuinely looking ahead, why does she keep referencing her previous relationship? It almost seems as though she's still using Ryan as a point of comparison, highlighting what she wants to do differently while also making it clear that she's eager to move forward with Ken.
Won't be getting her dream Disney wedding anytime soon. This article from E! News was written a couple days ago. It's titled, Why Gypsy Rose Blanchard Isn't Ready to Marry Ken Urker After Welcoming Baby. Ken's mother in a live stream confirmed this. Her words were, they're dating and getting to know each other.
This ongoing focus on her past marriage could indicate that she's still processing everything that happened, or it could be her way of justifying why she wants her current relationship to progress in a certain direction. Another aspect that complicates the situation is the promise ring Gypsy gave Ken while she was still legally married to Ryan. This was not just a romantic gesture, it was a significant symbol of commitment.
I felt like a very strong connection, like we were, as they say, cut from the same cloth. It's like when you're so connected to someone that you really don't need words to speak to them, they're there for you, and that was what I felt for him 7 years ago.
Showing that she had already emotionally moved on from her marriage before it was even officially over. Now, she insists that she doesn't want to rush into anything, but giving Ken a promise ring at that time contradicts that statement. It was a strong indication that she was already setting up their future together, even as she was still navigating her divorce. This raises the question of whether she truly wants to take things slow, or if she's simply trying to control the pace in a way that keeps her from appearing too eager.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the chemistry, the connection that we had, the ability to talk for hours on end and not get bored, and just realizing that this is very much my person, you know, someone who I confide in with everything, and yeah, someone who I just really enjoyed having in my life. How do you?
Despite her insistence that she's allowing things to unfold naturally, there's an underlying tension in how she talks about her relationship with Ken. She may not be openly pushing him to propose, but she's creating an environment where it's clear that she expects him to take the next step. This delicate balancing act allows her to appear as though she's respecting his timeline while still making it known that she's waiting for him to act. If she were genuinely indifferent about marriage at this stage, there wouldn't be so many signals pointing toward her desire for a more official commitment.
I think we're both the type of people that get in our feelings. But the good thing is the recovery. The recovery is excellent. I'll be one to go up to him and be like, you know what? I acted a little harsh. I'm sorry. I love you. And he's the same way. So we have great issue resolving techniques.
The emotional weight of the situation became even more evident during a therapy session where Gypsy was seen breaking down in tears, pleading with Ken to be with her for the right reasons. She expressed that she wanted him to choose her because he truly loved her, not just because of their baby. This moment revealed a lot about where she stands emotionally. It showed just how much she wants this relationship to work and how deeply invested she is in its future.
I know that it's his baby, but I will raise the baby as if it was my own. I'm like, and what happens to Ken? He just disappears in thin air?
He's saying that, but one day he might go hate because it's a conflict.
While she may claim she's comfortable with taking things slow, her emotional reaction suggests otherwise. She wants reassurance from Ken, and whether she realizes it or not, that pressure is likely affecting their dynamic. All of this raises the bigger question of whether Gypsy is truly taking things slow, or if she's simply waiting for Ken to finally propose. There's a fine line between being patient and subtly expecting someone to meet an unspoken timeline, and right now, it seems like Gypsy is walking that line. Her past relationship moved at an overwhelming speed, and she claims she doesn't want to repeat that pattern. Yet her actions continue to suggest that she's still looking for a sense of stability and commitment. Gypsy's claim in her News interview that she wants to take things slow with Ken is understandable.
He wants to be happy, and he keeps himself in this bubble of like waiting to see what happens with me, and he's preventing himself from meeting somebody that could be the love of his life. It could be the perfect person for him.
Right.
There's still that lingering hope that I will go back to him and we can pick up where we left off, even with the pregnancy. And too much has happened for that.
Given how quickly things escalated with Ryan, she openly admitted that hormones played a big role in her decision to have a baby, and while she doesn't regret the pregnancy itself, she acknowledges that everything moved too fast. But the real question is, which part of the rash decision does she regret the most? Was it how quickly she married Ryan, or how quickly she left him? She claims to have learned from the experience, yet she seems to be repeating the same pattern with Ken. On one hand, she says she doesn't want to rush into another major commitment, but on the other, she is clearly waiting for Ken to propose.
About that, which I have shared.
Could you share with us?
I don't like having those conversations.
Okay.
Number one, I'm still going through the divorce, which will be finalized sometime this month. However, I'm not the type of person to say, okay, just because we're...
How much of her desire to take things slow is genuine, and how much of it is just a way to manage the situation without making it look like she's pressuring him? While Gypsy insists she's letting things unfold naturally, her actions suggest otherwise. She may not be directly pushing Ken, but she is certainly making it clear that she expects a proposal. Her subtle hints, her comments about being free from Ryan and ready for new possibilities, and even the way she frames her pregnancy all seem to be ways of setting the stage for Ken to step up. The contradiction here is striking. She says she wants to take her time, yet she's already making moves that indicate otherwise. She even gave Ken a promise ring while still legally married to Ryan, a gesture that was meant to symbolize commitment but also hinted at her tendency to jump ahead in relationships.
You have to marry me.
I'm not the type of person to tell you how to live your life. Like, I don't want to be that person to say, you will marry me. You will, I will move in with you. He has his own life. And if he wants to marry me, he will propose. He will make his own decisions based on what he.
If she truly wanted to take things slow, why make such a grand gesture before her divorce was even finalized? The ring was supposed to reassure Ken, but it also reflected the ongoing complications of her love life. The way Gypsy talks about her newfound freedom from Ryan also raises questions. She frequently brings up her past marriage, almost as if she's comparing her old life to the one she's trying to build with Ken. If she's truly moving forward, why does she keep looking back? Instead of focusing solely on what's next, she continues to reference her failed marriage, which only adds to the speculation that she is using it as a way to justify her current choices.
So you moved to New Orleans, you got a new job, you got a new place. How is it being so close to her?
It's great. I mean, she's only an hour away, so we get to spend a lot of time together. And we get 2 days a week. She's allowed to stay at my house, and then the other 5 she's got to be back home.
Okay, not bad.
So yeah, it's not too bad. And like I said, it's only an hour drive, so it's not that crazy.
Gypsy has also made it clear that her pregnancy plays a major role in her expectations for the future. Having a baby is a life-changing event, and it seems like she is using it as a reason to move things forward in her relationship with Ken. While she isn't outright demanding marriage, she is carefully crafting a narrative where it feels like the natural next step. This allows her to avoid seeming too pushy, while still making it clear that she is waiting for Ken to take action. The dynamic here is complicated. On one hand, she is embracing her newfound freedom and independence, but on the other, she is subtly pressuring Ken to commit. Even Ken's mother, Rena, has weighed in on the situation, offering an entirely different perspective. When asked about the couple's future, she made it clear that Ken and Gypsy are still getting to know each other and figuring out if marriage is even the right choice. This suggests that Ken's hesitation isn't just about timing. It could be about whether he truly wants to marry Gypsy at all. While Gypsy paints the picture that she is simply waiting for the right moment, Ken's family openly acknowledges that he may not be as invested in the relationship as she is.
That I feel really guilty.
Okay.
Just because, I know there's been a lot of change for him. Like I told him, I don't want him to stay because of the baby. I want him to want this relationship to work.
This raises another question. Is Gypsy ignoring the signs, or is she choosing to believe that Ken will eventually come around? Ken's reluctance may also have deeper roots, especially given the rumors swirling about his past. There has been speculation about his relationships with men and alleged activity on dating apps like Grindr, which could be playing a role in his hesitation. If Ken is still soaring through his own feelings about his sexuality, it would make sense for him to take a step back before committing to marriage. For him, it may not just be about Gypsy. It may be about whether he is even ready for this level of commitment in the first place. These rumors, while not directly related to Gypsy, add yet another layer of complexity to an already complicated situation. Her actions seem increasingly calculated, carefully shaping the narrative to place herself in control while subtly shifting the blame away from Ken. Instead of acknowledging his clear reluctance, she presents herself as the one holding the ring, making it appear as if she's the one deciding when, or if, the next step happens. But is this just a way to save face? This contradiction in her portrayal suggests a potential gaslighting dynamic, where she downplays Ken's hesitations and the true stagnation in their relationship in order to protect her own image. By positioning herself as someone who is simply waiting for the right moment or taking a careful approach, she creates an illusion of control over a situation where, in reality, Ken's lack of engagement is the real issue. This entire dynamic raises a bigger question. Has Gypsy truly been honest with herself, or even with her audience, about what's actually happening in her relationship? While she plays up the idea of waiting patiently, her history suggests that she's anything but passive when it comes to relationships. If she's so eager for stability, why is Ken still hesitant? Could it be that he's simply not as invested in her as she is in him? Or is there something much deeper at play? Ken's reluctance could stem from more than just a desire to take things slow. Given Gypsy's well-documented pattern of rushing into major life decisions, whether it was her quick marriage to Ryan or her dramatic shifts in relationships, Ken may have serious concerns about whether she is truly capable of long-term commitment. And let's not forget the swirling rumors about Ken's past, including speculation about his relationships with men and alleged activity on Grindr. If he's still grappling with his own identity, it makes sense that he wouldn't be eager to lock himself into a marriage, especially with someone whose personal life is already under intense public scrutiny. At the end of the day, this situation isn't just about Gypsy waiting for a proposal. It's about whether Ken even wants to propose in the first place. Gypsy might be painting the picture of a woman in control, but the real story may be that she's waiting for something that may never come. What do you think? Is Ken stringing her along, or is Gypsy ignoring the signs? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing drama.